It's very hard to understand in the beginning that the whole idea is not to beat the other runners. Eventually, you learn that the competition is against the little voice inside you that wants to quit. Good evening, everybody. It says good morning here, but it is good evening. Good evening, and welcome to our Sunday service, a little bit later than normal. I hope you've had a lovely day, and I'm sure at some point some of us have seen the swathe of runners and sweaty foreheads and cramping legs. So our best wishes go to all of those who were part of the marathon today. Whether you're a regular to this church, a member or visitor, or coming for the first time, you're very, very welcome. We will sing, we will listen, we'll pray together. And although at times the word God may be used, this is just an encompassing term for the spirit that lies within us and around us. So please feel free to use the words or images that resonate with you. And we also welcome anybody who's joining us on the live stream. We start our service this morning by lighting our chalice, and Cheyenne will do that for us. Thank you, Cheyenne. For this 1 hour, Spirit of life, we let go. For this 1 hour, may we let go of our anxieties, our fears, our anger, our self-doubts, our regrets, our petty grievances, and our distractions. If only for this 1 hour, let the flame of this chalice burn from the hearts and minds and light our way to peace and serenity. For this one holy hour. Let us come together in prayer. Spirit and light of love, God of hope, we come together in this sacred space with our personal prayers and those for the greater world. We offer our prayers to anyone who is suffering in the world today through no fault of their own, whether that's financial, through fear, through oppression, through war, and through natural disasters. Spirit of love and light and comfort, we offer prayers to those who have been part of the marathon today. May they acknowledge, each and every one of them, what they have achieved today. May their muscles be rested. May their accomplishments be seen. Spirit of love and light, we ask that the gift of hope can penetrate even the darkest of lives. And as we look to the flame of the chalice, we draw strength from this light, that we can endure what life throws at us and offer our love and compassion to those that we meet. In the name of love and light and courage, blessed be. We sing our first hymn together, and it's 176 in the Green Book, and it's Come Together in Love. The 6th of May was a rather special day in 1954. Roger Bannister was the first person to run a 4-minute mile. What with better vests and shoes and training schedules, that just under 4-minute mile has been slashed. But it was quite a feat in those days. We've just maybe heard or acknowledged or maybe seen the Brighton Marathon and watched or acknowledged thousands of pairs of feet pounding the streets in their various attires. Some of them incredibly serious, had trained for months. Some of them maybe in a drunken night gone, hey, I'll do that. And got down to the seafront and wondered, what did I do? And there were others who've been dressed up in all sorts of interesting outfits, raising money for charity. So, is the service today all about running? Should we go out and have a jog around the park? Have I got a bag of vests to put on, ready to go out and stretch your legs? Ready, steady, go! So if any of you are any doubt, there are no vests. I have my trainers on, but we're not going running. We're not even going walking. You can just sit and rest. But I thought the marathon is an interesting thing to talk about, and in terms of endurance. The marathon has attracted many people, and apparently it's one of 800 that happen over the year in this country. Some of us may know the story of how it all began. The Greek messenger. The legend states he was sent from the battlefield of Marathon to Athens. Approximately 26 miles he ran. The story goes that he ran without stopping and announcing on his arrival, "We have won the battle," before collapsing. It's changed over the years. It's even increased its mileage. Apparently, we were responsible for doing that. We wanted the race to finish at a certain point by Windsor Castle at King Edward's Royal Box. So we added 1.5 miles on. So anybody who was being slightly crucified towards the end of that marathon can blame King Edward for that. But people come from all walks of life, students, surgeons, retired professional athletes, fundraisers, young and old. They all have a determination to complete, whether it's once in their life or many times over. And they all have their different reasons. But there's one thing that probably does keep them going, apart from the medal at the end, maybe the money that they're going to raise. It's that endurance of running one step at a time to get to the finish line. We have our first reading today, which is called Marathon, and it's read by Julia.
Life is a marathon. It isn't easy, it isn't graceful, it isn't pretty. Times will come which are so dark, even the sunniest of days feels cold. Evil men sow their sins from the shadows, but it stops you in your tracks, like hitting a runner's wall. Breathless, stinging lungs scream out against the lack of oxygen, like silent voices mourning a waking nightmare. But even from under the umbrella, we might find something worth redeeming. A helping hand, offering us some much-needed hydration, or friendly words of encouragement from strangers. Life is a marathon, and we can't allow the runner's wall to stop us from moving forward.
Thank you, Julia. Can you do the deeds, Stuart? Yeah, perfect. Thank you. Is there anybody here who is a runner? No. No. No, neither me. But I think that reading, I'm sure, even though we've perhaps not run, we've done something that creates that sense of endurance. And that sense of life is like a marathon. It isn't easy, and sometimes it isn't graceful. And there are times when it's really difficult and we hit the runner's wall. So hold those words in your mind as we come and sing together our second hymn, which is number 21, and it's Come and Find the Quiet Centre, and it's in the Purple Book. go back in time to the 6th of May 1954. Up until that time, most people thought the 4-minute mile was impossible to break. They thought the human body couldn't physically do it. It would collapse under the pressure. It was impossible. That was until Roger Bannister proved everyone wrong, training in his own way and believing that he could do it. In a previous race, he was running the 1500 metres and he was expected to win. And yet, he didn't. He came fourth. But what that did was inspired him to push forward and to try to beat the 4-minute mile. He needed to prove to himself more than anyone that he could do it. And he recognised that if he wasn't going to beat it that day, somebody else would take the trophy. He was a trainee doctor and he spent the morning in the hospital. He was worried about the weather, whether the wind was too strong on that day, whether it was going to rain. And by the time the race had begun, it was raining and windy. But he decided, I'm going to run anyway. He was exhausted, but driven by the years of training and his determination, he crossed the finishing line, collapsing exhausted. The announcement came. It was drowned out by the crowd. Bannister had finished in 3 minutes 59.4 seconds. He'd done it. He'd done what so many people thought was impossible. He'd made history. He proved it was possible. He proved that through determination and endurance, he could achieve what he really wanted to do. And he opened the door for many to follow after him. So does that mean we should all take up running? Hope not, because I'll be at the back of the queue if we do. And do we just sit back and go, wow, look at all those amazing people who've run in the marathon today, their determination, their endurance, their perseverance, to keep running, to get across that finishing line, to say, yeah, I did it. Do we believe that we have a hidden source of energy and determination to stand the course of time? And how do we keep going during those times when things feel so difficult? Whether we're runners or not, I believe there's something that we want to achieve. And also, endurance doesn't equate to victory. We may be able to look back at our lives, see the patience and the stress, the sweat and the tears, that we may not have necessarily succeeded in the terms of victory or a medal. But we can see that endurance has taught us something about ourselves. I remember when I started learning how to sew, I had these great visions. I'm going to make suits and shirts and, well, I was slightly, deluded to be fair. But I had to start at the beginning. I had to learn how to thread a machine. I had to learn how to choose cloth. I had to learn how to put the pattern pieces on the fabric and to cut them and then put them together. It was like learning a new language. I struggled many times. What I thought would turn out as a shirt became an apron. What started as puffy sleeves ended up as short sleeves. There were times when I wanted to give up. I can't possibly unpick it and start all over again. I'm sure many of us can relate to this, maybe not in sewing, but in gardening, bed making, getting kids to school, getting their clothes on, learning a new skill. Just those daily activities that we have to do, they take huge endurance. So do these runners just get up one day and go, I'll start running? Well, some of them do. Some of them do. But most of them don't. Most of them have a schedule, have a little app that says run, couch to 5k and then 10k, 15, 20, whatever. They have a plan. But it's not easy. Even when they're thinking about the finishing line, or the medal around their neck, or the hugs from their families, or the promised beer from their mates. It's not easy to keep going. So I'm going to invite you into a period of reflection, and I'm going to lead you in a meditation. So get yourself comfy. If sitting is really difficult for you, please get up and walk around if that works better. I invite you to close your eyes, but again, if that's not good for you, then maybe just look at the flame or focus on something in the church. So let's just come back to ourselves for a moment, where we are in this space. We're grateful to have this rest. Feel the chair supporting us. There's nothing to do for these next few moments. You can just listen and allow ourselves to be taken on a journey. So I invite you to take yourself back to a time in your life. Maybe it was you were studying, or preparing for an exam. Maybe if you had children, looking after elderly parents or a partner or a friend. Getting ready for a show. Something where you had to practice, prepare. Something that took a lot from you. I invite you to just pick one of those situations and remember what it was like when you began, when you started, you decided. That decision to focus your attention, to maybe learn something new, to look after another. It may have been the beginning of a day. Think about how you felt in that moment. You're approaching something different. It was going to take a lot of your attention, your physicality, a lot of your energy. You may have had a big plan ahead of you. It could have been 3 years of work, or it may have been just need to get through this day. Think about what motivated you. Could have been as simple as getting the kids dressed and get them to school. Be reminded of what were the things that are around you that were helping you. Could have been books for study, been friends supporting you. And you started your journey. And with any journey, we need that energy, the energy of the breath of life. And then I invite you to bring to mind within this reflection, you may have had a moment where you have hit a hard, difficult point, a crisis, a difficulty. Remember how that felt. And if there was somebody around to offer you support or wise counsel, there may have been a community of people around you doing the same thing. You may have just had to dig really deep. And then there was the moment where you knew that you'd achieved something, whether it was getting through the day or getting your certificate, giving somebody the best possible care that you could. And I invite you with this memory, this reflection, to really give yourself a metaphysical hug or an acknowledgement of gratitude of what you've achieved, what you achieved in that moment. You may not have been the first, you may have been the last. It may have taken everything from you, but a sense of gratitude for what you've endured. And I invite you slowly to come back into this space, to allow yourself to let go of that memory. And we'll just take a few moments to listen to Stuart playing to allow us to settle back into this space. Thank you, Stuart. We come now to another time of prayer, so use the word God as you wish, spirit of love, nature, divine mystery, whatever draws you. Divine Spirit, God of all love, we pray for those who are struggling to recognise their own unique talents, those who don't have the resources or support to reach their goals. Divine Spirit, we offer our gratitude for the talents that we have. Help us a day at a time to grow into the best person that we can be. Give us the strength and courage to carry on when things feel overwhelming and the little voice that says they want to quit. We give thanks for the gift that the marathon has brought us today. Help us to see the wonderment of others' achievements. We give thanks for all of those who give their time for nothing, offering water and first aid, cheers of encouragement. Help us to see our own talents and celebrate these within and around. Spirit of life, God of all love, we acknowledge this challenge and the difficulty of life. And our prayers are to return us to that divine spirit within, to help us move one step at a time, even in the darkest of times. Amen, and blessed be. When Stuart was playing, I suddenly had this idea that we could fill the whole church with these people who've been running. We could play them like nice, lovely music to balm their muscles. I do go off on a tangent, but I thought that was quite a nice thing, like welcome them in. It's okay. Tea and biscuits and a little rest. I sent an email out, so some of you may have got it, asking you, inviting you actually, to bring an object to the service that relates to a period of your life or even a story about your life which relates to endurance. So this is the time for anybody who has brought something, who would like to bring it and just share their experience of what that part of their life was like, and how that endurance shaped them. So I leave the space open to anybody who wishes to come. Oh. And if you didn't get the email and you don't have an object, but something comes to mind, that's perfectly fine. You don't need an object. I wish I could say that the trainers that I have on today mean something. They don't, they're just comfortable. They don't have a story of running or hiking. But one thing did come to mind when I was planning this. I have 2 rings on my hand, and they have significance. One of them was my mother's, and she gave it to me a few years before she died, so I started to wear it. But it lost some of its stones, and somebody said to me, "Are you ever going to replace them? It looks a bit weird." It's like, get a new, whatever they are, diamonds I think, put in. And I said, no, I think it sort of symbolises, you know, the challenges and the love and the wonder of caring for my mother in dementia. So when I look at it sometimes, you know, I see those little holes in this ring, and it reminds me of those difficult times. But there's also the sparkliness, which reminds me of the joy. And, you know, I would love to say there was nothing enduring about looking after her, but there was at times. I think looking after anybody with a long-term illness, you have to dig deep sometimes. We come to the church seeking something, maybe something that wasn't provided elsewhere, maybe a desire for community, to learn about God, whatever that is. And maybe we find something that keeps us here. Biscuits, always good biscuits. Community, singing, a friendly face, a place to develop your own spiritual understanding. In our led meditation a little while ago, we were reminded of all those steps that happen when we're enduring something. Sometimes there's difficult times and crises. Sometimes we need some help. Sometimes we look for wise partnership. We find a community of like-minded souls. And that's quite similar to our spiritual journey. We might not do it consciously. We might not have thought when we walked through this door, right, I'm going to commit to a new spiritual journey. This is how it's going to be. Most of us don't do that. We just walk through the door and we find something, and then we find ourselves coming, and then, you know, it grows. But we do put that time aside. All of you deserve a badge because you've done it. 6 o'clock on a Sunday evening. It's not the normal time to come to church, is it? You know, but you come. And sometimes it's difficult. Sometimes it's difficult to come to church. Sometimes it's difficult to hear the person who's speaking. Sometimes you go away and you feel really fed, and that takes you into the next week, the things that you need to do. And sometimes you go away more confused than when you came in. And sometimes there may be a crisis, even in the church. Something that someone says or something that happens that makes you question why you're here. And those crises can come in our spiritual path. The same as some of those runners that were running today and suddenly they feel their hamstring going, or they're getting cramp, or I can't go on. They hit the wall, the runner's wall. And we, in our spiritual journey, hit the spiritual wall at times. Does God exist? What is God? What am I doing come to this church? What do I believe anyway? All of those thoughts that we have. And some of us may walk out of that door and not come back. Or they find another door. And some of us who've been sitting in the chairs for a long time, or been on any type of spiritual journey, recognise that there are joys and wonderments in that path, and there are also difficult ones. And the spiritual path is difficult when we're weighed down. I can imagine those people who are running the marathon in those great big unicorn things. You know, they're like, you can feel they're just like carrying the weight of a unicorn on their shoulders, you know, and there's others who are as light as possible. The lightest trainers, the lightest shirts, the lightest everything. They're not weighed down, and you see them in that movement. And we're the same in our spiritual practice. If we get weighed down by fear or anger or shame or resentment, those are the things that stop us feeling the joy, the open-heartedness, the beauty of something so much greater than ourselves. You may call it God, you may call it the divine or nature or just wonder. And we need that wonder. So how do we get it? Well, you don't need to go and run 26 miles. It's okay. But we do need to give ourselves the time and space to connect with what spiritually means something to us. Some of that is coming here. But how do we keep going during our week when things are difficult? Rumi said, prayer is the breath of the warrior. I really like that. There were a lot of warriors out on the streets today. Just as the runner needs physical conditioning, we need spiritual conditioning in prayer or contemplation or space. And our spiritual journey is not a marathon, it's multi-marathons. And it's for our lifetime and beyond. We're all seekers here. We seek that connection with something that we cannot explain. And we will all face the trials and struggles, difficult decisions, feeling that we don't have enough in ourselves to get through the next month, let alone the next year. And yet we can do it for this moment, and then for another moment and another moment. Just like the runner, they run one step at a time. We can endure whatever life throws at us if it's one breath, one step at a time. I leave you with a story of a mother who was seeing her 8-year-old off to school one morning. She walked him to the bus stop where they waited patiently. The bus came and her son got on the school bus. She proceeded to go home, get ready for work, but about 15 minutes later the doorbell rang, and it was her son at the front door. She was shocked to see him, since she had just got him on the school bus. Then she noticed the school bus with its doors open in front of her house. She asked her son, "What are you doing back home?" He said, "I'm quitting school. It's too hard, it's too boring, and it's too long." Her mother looked at him and said, "That's life. Now get back on the bus." Amen and blessed be. Our final hymn is 125. One more step, and it's in the purple book. Before we close, we'll take the offertory this evening. Anything that you're able to put in here, we gracefully and graciously accept. Anything helps us to keep this church doing what we so wonderfully do. And if you have a card, there's a little reader after. And I also say that if you don't have money, it's fine. We are glad that you are here. Would you play a little ditty? Great. Thank you so much for your generous donations. We close with the words from John Bingham. Crossing the starting line may be an act of courage, but crossing the finishing line is an act of faith. Faith is what keeps us going when nothing else will. Faith is the emotion that will give you victory over your past, the demons in your soul, and all of those voices that tell you, you can't, it cannot be. You can. Amen, and blessed be.
Oh no, we want a little. Can we have a little ditty? If you haven't got one, it's fine.
Thank you, Stuart, for doing your bit. With your lovely playing, as always. Thank you, T'other Stuart, for setting up and looking after us. There he is. Thank you, Fanny, for making our tea and coffee. And she's bringing in vegan cake, vegan hot cross buns, and vegan biscuits. So please do stay and be vegan. And Jennifer, thank you so much for a lovely evening service. Yeah, it's kind of special coming in at this time of day, but for helping us look at the elements of endurance. Particularly resonated with me was dig deep, having to dig deep. Really sums it all up. Okay, if you want to give an offering but don't have any cash, then as usual the card reader is over there with clear instructions, and I'll rattle through the upcoming things this week as normal. Wednesday music and quiet reflection music starts at 12:15 with Pamela on the piano forte. And is followed by a cup of tea at 1 o'clock, and then quiet reflections led by Jennifer this week at 1:15 till 2 o'clock. And again on Wednesday in the evening on Zoom, Heart and Soul, led this week by Jeanette. If you need a link to it, just please email the church. Sorry. The Friday lunchtime concert is great. It's the ever joyful jazz duo of Joss Peach on the piano and Alex Bondono on the saxophone, and they're going to be playing traditional jazz tunes, but also some new unheard of pieces. So that's on Friday at 12:30. Next Sunday our service will be led by Susie Courthouse, interfaith minister and member of this church. And I just also wanted to say, on a I guess a personal note, Susie and I have booked tickets to see our erstwhile chair of the committee, Jo Howarth, in her performance at the Globe over the summer, and she's appearing in The Crucible, and we're going on to the matinee on the 19th of June. So if anybody wants to join us, please do that. Chat to me or Susie about it. That's it. So, tea, cake and vegan stuff.
Is it definitely Susie? I thought it was Stephen.
What? Next one?
Susie.
Stephen.
Oh, Stephen.
Yeah, it's Stephen.
SC.
Yeah.
Oh, so, apologies. It's
It's,
Stephen.
so, the service next Sunday will be led by Stephen Crowther. He's got the same initials as Susie Gore. That's okay. Just a little reminder that for any of you who are members here, that there is the AGM of the General Assembly of Unitarians and Free Christian Churches, which looks after us all, has their annual general meeting next weekend. So there aren't any really significant motions, I would say, but those of you who are members will receive an email this week and invite you to note how you would like our delegate, Victor, to vote. He's going on our behalf. So yeah, just to keep that in mind, it will be coming in your inbox Tuesday or Wednesday. And that's it. Tea. And lots of cake and biscuits. That's the really good thing about having evening service. Lots of many people come, more cake.
Let's say goodbye, wave. Bye-bye.
Thank you for coming.